Hello, everyone. So I'm putting this out there. So you want to be a published author? I'm not going to give you statistics. I'm not going to break down the money. All I'm going to do is give you the experience that I went through. I put this book out here, Saving America's Citizens, and I'll run through it a little bit. Here it is. I'll run through it a little bit at towards the end of the video. So, like I said, I'm not going to give you statistics. People are probably going to get bored with this. That's fine. I'm not on YouTube to make a bunch of money. I just want to get this out to you, and to let you know what I went through, and some of the pitfalls, what you're going to run up against. Um, it's not as easy as you may think. Um, and if you take anything away from this video, um, take this. If you're sitting out there and you have a book already written, it's on paper, and you're telling yourself, well, I just don't know if anybody's going to buy it. I don't know if it's worth the cost. Um, or if you're telling yourself, well, if I don't put it out there, I'm always going to wonder. It's going to bother me. What if I would have put it? If you have that thought process, then I would highly suggest to go ahead and do it. Go ahead and put your book out there. Um, Let the chips fall where they may, and see what happens. Now, one of the things that I did not realize, because I thought both things. I thought, well, this is going to be eventually probably a lot of money that I'm going to be investing. Am I going to get at least get that money back? But then I told myself, well, if I don't do it, then I'll always be wondering. Um, Something that I found out at the very beginning is that there are millions, there's 350 million people in the country. You would venture to guess that at least 10 million people are interested interested in reading books. Now, when you take books like, let's say, Bill O'Reilly's Killing Whoever books, or somebody, whether she's famous or infamous, like Hillary Clinton, uh, their books, let's say, for example, Bill O'Reilly, his books on average are selling between 1 and 4 million copies. Um, More than likely, these people are getting on the bestseller list even before the book comes out. Some people will get on the bestseller list. This is something I found out. I will tell you. Some people get on the bestseller list before it comes out because they have the money to go ahead and place pre-orders for 10,000 books, whether they do it themselves or whether they have friends that do it. Um, they will go ahead and do pre-orders. They will purchase 10,000 books just to make it a bestseller, in the hopes that they're going to sell more copies and get that money back. It is what it is. Not everybody can do that. Um, so out of the readers out there, you again, you would think 350 million people, got to be at least 10 million people out there that want to read, may be interested in my book. But then also take into account that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of books that are released every year. I was naive. I did not know this. I did not think that staggering amount comes out every year. And so, depending on your genre, depending on what you got in the book, is basically going to determine how well it does. And there's another concept too: marketing. Marketing is a big issue. So anyway, I wrote the book. Finally got it out there. 2022. First thing was, okay, How do I get it published? Well, you have two ways of getting it published. You can either go through a publisher, which is going to cost you money, or you can self-publish, which is going to cost you money. It all depends on which route you want to go to put in the least amount of work. If you go self-publishing, you've got to come up with the cover. You've got to find an editor, because I can guarantee you that you're going to have misspelled words, and you're going to need somebody to review your work. So you're going to have to pay for an editor. Then you're going to have to pay to put the book together, to get it into print. Again, it's thousands of dollars. I don't have the exact numbers. I'm not going to give those to you. But I can tell you it's thousands of dollars. Now, the reward for self-publishing is the fact that the books that you sell, that's all your profit. All the money you make comes back to you. If you go through a publisher, then there's a lot of hands that are in the pudding, and I'll tell you about how much money I make on one sale of a book. So anyway, I was thinking to myself, okay, got to find the publishers, and there's lots of them out there. I can tell you that the big name publishers, there's a very good chance that they're not going to be interested in your book. They're only looking for people that have the big names, like the Clintons and the O'Reillys and anybody else there that's putting their books out. So more than likely, the big name publishers they're not even gonna talk to you. So I started thinking to myself, well, what about literary agents? I'll get in contact with a literary agent. Their job is to go out and find a publisher for you. There again, they're gonna want a piece of the pie, and so there's some money involved there. And so I reached out to about 17 literary agents. Most of them did not get back to me. The 3 or 4 that did get back to me said that Saving America's Citizens would be too controversial of a book, and they didn't want to get involved. So I struck out on the literary agents, which is fine. In hindsight now, I'm glad that I didn't go through one. So I kept contacting publishers. Again, Google it. There's plenty of them out there. If you're a first-time author, it's going to be extremely hard to find a publisher, because they're investing in you somewhat. And again, if this is your only book, they're gonna hesitate. I did finally find a publisher. I'm not going to reveal the name. It's in the back of the book, if you want to check that out. And also, keep in mind, as a first-time author, you're not going to get paid up front. These publishers are not going to pay you to have your book published. As I found out, I sent the book to the publisher. They read it and they said, "Yeah, we'll take it on, but it's going to cost you this, and for what they're going to do, it's going to cost you this, and that." I can tell you that the average price to get a book published is going to be around between $4,000 and $7,000 to get your book published. And so I said, and I thought about it again. Well, if I don't get it out there, am I always going to wonder? And so I said, go for it. Let's do it. So you go through the process of you pick a cover. You send them what you want as a cover, and they'll hash it out. And they'll send you some of their ideas for the cover, and then you'll go ahead and pick that. The very first part is they assign an editor to your book, and I can tell you with Saving America's Citizens that there's 200, I believe 252 pages in it. My draft copy was well over 300 pages. It was approximately 325 pages. Publisher came back and said, okay, you've got too many pages. Anything over 250 pages, excuse me, is considered a novel. And novels, they say, usually doesn't sell as well. And so they recommended that I cut out approximately 85,000 words and 50, 60 pages before they would even start editing it. So I went in and I did what they said, and I cleaned out 85,000 words and cut it down to the 300 and probably about 360 pages. Then it goes into editing. That's a long process. The editor goes through, reads your book. They come back with suggestions. They come back with grammatical errors. They come back with how the book should be structured with paragraphs, the titles. They red mark it to death. Excuse me. And so after that process, I don't even remember how long it took. It was probably a month or so. Back and forth, back and forth. They would send their edits. I'd go in and do the edits. In the process, I found some more on my own, send it back to them, and it just went back and forth until they felt comfortable with it being correct. And you felt comfortable that they were comfortable with it being correct. So after the editing process, then it goes into, like I said, then it goes into selecting the cover. They get the cover selected, and I'm going through this quickly. After selecting the cover, then they will also, when you go into contract with them, before you go into contract, they will let you know what the book will sell for. And generally, for a hardcover, it's $26.95. Soft cover is $18.95, and they break down who's going to get a portion of that money and eventually how much you're going to end up with, which I will inform you at the end. So we got the editing done. We got the cover picked. Now they want you to go out and get endorsements. The publisher may have, depends on the publisher, may have some authors that they will email your book to. And they will ask that these authors go ahead and read your book and give their endorsements. If the publisher does not do that, then it will be up to you to find the authors. And generally, the publisher is going to have authors listed on their website, and so you can contact them. I did go through the process. This publisher sent my book out to approximately 10 authors, I believe it was. And I got four endorsements back. So then we sort through the endorsements after those come back. And that's, by the way, that they give them about a month to read the book. So that's some more time that goes by in the process. Got my endorsements. Those were put into the book. And after that, it's pretty much good to go. They set up a publishing date with the distributor. The distributor is responsible for sending out the books to whoever is interested. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Barnes and Nobles. Just they send it out to thousands of people that are interested once it hits the street and it's out there. But here comes the hard part: the marketing, letting people know that it's out there. The publisher is not going to do that for you. The publisher is going to have your book listed on their website, but they're not going to do the marketing. And they will come up with suggestions for you to create your own websites through, I think GoDaddy was one of them, and there's a list. Some of the sites for creating your own website, of course, you've got to pay them some money. I, of course, went for the free sites, like mostly everybody's going to. But the sites, in reality, aren't going to get you very far. I put it on three sites, and it just really doesn't go anywhere. Because you have to, if you want the big .com sites where Google's going to put it up front or Google's going to get it out there for you, that's fine. But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. So your other avenue, is to get with bookstores, ask them to do an author review on the book. If you have that capability, if you're living in an area where there's lots of bookstores, like Barnes and Nobles, that's good for you. Then you can go ahead and set up. Barnes and Noble will have where you can set up a book review and a book signing, and people will come in and hopefully buy your book. Now, with Barnes and Nobles, I can tell you that they want a fee. They have a fee for setting up the book review and the book signing. You can also go find groups in your area. If you have access to many groups in your area, you can do it that way. The other method of selling your book is craft fairs. That's a good way to do it. There's some of you out there that are not going to have all of these venues to get your book out there. So your only other avenue is social media. You've got X, Getter, Facebook. I can tell you that you can't put it on any sites like Etsy. You can't sell it on Etsy. I'm not sure about Marketplace, but I know Etsy for sure they do not allow you to sell books there. So, so now you go and you put it on your social media sites. Good luck with that, because on X, while I was on there before they suspended me for some unknown reason, they have a tendency of censoring posts on X, and on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account because Facebook won't. I don't know what I did to Facebook, but for some reason Facebook won't allow me to have an account with them. But from what I understand, they do a lot of censoring too. So that's an uphill battle to get it on the social media sites, to get it out there. Marketing is the hardest part of the whole process. Getting it out there for people to see, with the censorship on social media. If you can come up with other ways to market it, that's good. that's good. The more ways you have to market it, the better. But I can tell you, it takes a lot of your time to do the marketing. Um, if you're trying to get to that bestseller list, more power to you. Um, you're gonna be working your backside off, getting it out to the people. Um, and so basically, that that's primarily it. If you want to be a published author, um, you can do it. There's ways to do it. It's just it's just whether you can get it sold. And again, there are millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of books put out there every year, and it all depends on what people want to read and um, whether they want to read. It's astonishing to me that there's a lot of people out there that just aren't into reading. They would rather sit and read stuff through their cell phone, which they can do. Um, when you put your book on Amazon, you can get the hardcover, you can get the soft cover that they're going to put on there, and you're going to get the Kindle version. You've got to set up the Kindle version too. And speaking of which, also while you're going through this process, you're going to be setting up um, bank accounts as to uh, where the publisher can send your money for the sale of the book. And you can always go out and buy some from the publisher or the distributor. You can buy books. It'll be at a discounted price. The authors always get discounts on the books that they purchase. It's usually about half of what the book's going for. Okay, so yeah, marketing is your book's out there. The marketing is entirely up to you. Um, I can tell you. So the financial part, like I said, anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 to get your book published. If you're self-published, eventually, I would say you're probably going to put about that much money into it as well. But again, any book that you sell, you get it's all profit. It's all profit. If you go through a publisher, hardcover is like I said, 26.95. This soft cover is out there 18.95. As long as it's out there, the price fluctuates. It goes down to 15.95 sometimes, goes back up. It depends. What are you going to make on this book? You're not going to get rich. You're not going to get rich. I'll tell you that right now. Depending on the publisher, um, is going to depend primarily on what you're going to get. I can tell you for this publisher that I'm through, $26.95 on a hardcover book. When all is said and done, I will make $1.99 per book. Got a lot of hands in the pudding. They all want their money. $1.99 out of a $26.95 book. Now, if you, like I said, a lot of people have to have their cell phones and they're going to read their iPads, and so they're going to go through Kindle. And usually Kindle is about, you actually set the price with the publisher, how much you want to sell your Kindle books for. Actually, you'll go with the publisher. You'll set the price for the hardcover, soft cover as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. You'll negotiate the price, but they usually have a good idea what the going rate is, and if you get greedy and you want to sell for 50, $60, good luck. It's probably not going to happen. So I would recommend going with what the publisher recommends the prices to be. Now on Kindle, the books on Amazon, generally they'll start out. I think I started out at $7.99. publisher said, okay, we'll do that for a month and then see how it goes. And then they dropped it down to $4.95 or $4.99, excuse me. So when you make a sale on Kindle, anybody that goes through Kindle to read your book, you're what you're going to make off of Kindle is going to be, let's see, a penny, 10 cents. Yeah, that's all you're going to make off of Kindle. So hopefully most of your sales aren't through Kindle. So about this book, Saving America's Citizens, pretty catchy title, right? I would think that a lot of people would be interested in it. And on the back here, it's got some endorsements. Let me see. Let me read a couple of those. So basically what the book is about is, at the time, we were in war with Iraq. And I wanted to find ways to help our soldiers. And so there's a plan in here. Well, actually, what happened that was one of the reasons why I stopped writing, because what happened in Iraq, we pulled the troops out. And so Afghanistan got more heated up, and then there was the pullout and the troops out of Afghanistan, and then we had American citizens that were left behind. And that's when I basically had to rewrite a whole bunch of chapters. And so in there is the plan at that time to get Americans out of Afghanistan. There's plans in here to stop child trafficking. There's plans in here to stop Antifa. There's a plan in here to stop all crime in our neighborhoods. Plan to stop rioters. There's a plan to, at the time, when we had massive influx of illegals coming across the border, there's a plan in here to stabilize the border. There's a plan in here to stop domestic terrorism by monitoring it and taking them down. And if you'll remember in here, March of 2023, when it was released, in here is the plan to take down terrorist training camps in the country. In November, if you don't remember, in November of 2023, the FBI came out publicly and said that there's 22 terrorist training camps in this country. It was a short glick on the radar screen, on the media radar screen. Didn't last very long. Don't know. Didn't hear any more about it. We don't know if the FBI is checking into them. We don't know if they've taken them out. But there's a plan in here. I mentioned 26 training camps. And there's a plan in here to take those down. So there's lots of... This title is exactly what it says. Saving America's Citizens. And there's plenty of plans in here to do just that. I don't know if you can see this. I sent a copy of the book to President Trump, his staff. I got a card back saying that they got the book, and it says, "Thank you for your kind words and for taking the time to send me your book. Melania and I appreciate your unwavering support, and we are deeply grateful for your encouragement. Our nation is strong because of the individuals like you who believe in and defend the great American ideals of faith, family, community, and country first. I will never stop fighting for the America you and I cherish. May God bless you." That was very nice. I'm sure President Trump probably hasn't seen Saving America's Citizens. I hope he has. But it was nice of the staff to send that. and that is in this. That card is in the book. Another endorsement that I received is by Aaron Michael Grant, Staff Sergeant, Staff NCO, U.S. Marine Corps, and he is also a fellow author. His book is Taking Baghdad. I've read that book. It's a great book. His endorsement, probably the most important endorsement I got, because it's basically sums up what is in here, and it's the most novel literature of fact and fiction ever written. Saving America's citizens is the heart of every virtuous American who sees the problem and knows the solution. What is a man to do when he sees his nation falling apart? When he sees child trafficking and Americans left in Afghanistan? When he sees the invasion at the southern border and the deadly cartels running rampant? When he has made an oath to defend and protect his country, he does what he has to do. He keeps his oath. Saving America's Citizens, read Saving America's Citizens, not for a hypothetical future, not for entertainment, but as a real blueprint of what must be done to save America. Honor is in the works, and the dirt is in the details. Veteran Todd Gohl has cracked open the mind of every virtuous American and given them a future to fight for. If you only read one book in 2023, you must read Saving America's Citizens. He summed it up perfectly. He summed it up perfectly, what's in here. Now, is it a bestseller? No. No, it's not. It's not a bestseller because, number one, I'm not going to go out and buy 10,000 books. I'm not going to have a bunch of my friends and family to go out and buy a bunch of books. It is what it is. I'm relying on the public to buy it. I'm not going to reveal how many books I've sold. But let's just say at this present time, I have not recouped my investment, which is fine. That's the chance you take when you have your book published. It's either going to make it, which I hope for you it does, or it's going to get out there to some people. But again, this is what I went through. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give you statistics. I'm not going to give you what it's going to cost. I'm not going to run down the analytics. I'm just telling you what I went through and what you can expect when you decide to go and become a published author. I hope that you do it. I hope that you have success. And I wish you good luck.